Fire Aid, that star-studded concert that raised $100 million for wildfire victims. But where did all that money go? Investigative journalist Sue Pasco has been digging for answers, and what she's discovered might just surprise you. And Sue Pasco,
a reader sent me a little note and said, I've never seen any fire aid money. How do I apply for fire aid money? And I thought, well, you know, I've never thought about that. There's 12,000 people, basically 12,000 homes gone. Those people probably want to know where the money is. This will be an easy task to find out. So I contacted the Annenberg. They never responded.
And the Annenberg is
Foundation, because they are overseeing the wildfire funds, yes. So I emailed them several times. They never responded. I called them several times. They never responded. And finally, it was like almost 2 weeks later, a woman got back to me and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry for the delay. The person you need to speak to is Chris Wallace. He's a media spokesperson for wildfire funds." So I contacted Chris and I said, you know, victims want to know when they can get their money. Seems like a very simple question. He said, basically they don't. All this money are going to nonprofits, and then nonprofits will take care of making sure the money's distributed. So I looked at initially they gave $50 million to about 120 nonprofits, and I looked at these nonprofits, and one of them said, we help mobile home parks. And there were 2 mobile home parks in the Palisades, all low income. And so I contacted the people there. They had never received any money. They had never heard of that. When you go through, I would urge everyone to just go to the nonprofits that are listed if you want a good laugh. I mean, one of the nonprofits cleans preschool bathrooms. Well, after the fire, who knows? Maybe there is a preschool bathroom that needs cleaning.
So apparently in California, Democrats and a bunch of celebrities raised millions upon millions of dollars for wildfire victims. But just like every other feel-good leftist scam, the money didn't go where they claimed. According to investigative reports, it went to, quote, non-profits. In other words, it likely funded a bunch of bloated salaries for a bunch of activist grifters, and probably some fat checks for the executives running the whole show. The victims? Completely ignored. The communities, still scorched and crumbling, and now dealing with layering issues in true Democrat fashion, you know, like having to deal with squatters on your non-existent burnt down lot.
Squatters are overtaking vacant lots that burn down, like this one right behind me here. This guy set up a whole campsite, and I guess actually went down to the DMV, listed this as his address on his driver's license, and the property owner can't get them off. The police even showed up and they said, we can't do anything about it. It's got to go to the courts. Here's another one right behind me. This is 2 right across the street from each other. Squatters who have overtaken these properties, and the homeowners cannot get them off of the site. So if you're in Pacific Palisades or Altadena, I'd get some security fencing up right away, or you might lose your property to a vagrant, and the county isn't going to do anything to help you.
It's just Democrats slap in the face after Democrats slap in the face. And going back to the fundraising scam, just think about it. Millions upon millions of dollars raised. Supposedly all of these compassionate celebrities coming together to do something good for the victims. They raised all of this money off the backs of devastated families, burned homes, scorched to the ground neighborhoods. I mean, neighborhoods at one point looking like charcoal. And here come these celebrities playing savior, when really in reality what they're doing is siphoning funds for the Democrat NGO racket. It's absolutely crazy, but it's not exactly new either. It's the same racket every single time, just like we saw during BLM, whether it's a manufactured crisis or a legitimate crisis. The Democrats come in and fundraise like hell. I mean, boy, do they have a fundraising machine, but then they do nothing. There's no accountability, no transparency, and most importantly, no actual results. Tens of millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars gone, and then nothing to show for it. They've replicated this model across the board. Humanitarian crisis, fundraise. Environmental disaster, fundraise. Homelessness epidemic, fundraise. Not to mention all the taxpayer dollars that are also being funded to these NGOs. But all the while, over the last however many decades, the situations on the ground continue to gradually get worse and worse and worse. Obviously, something's not clicking, right? Put 2 and 2 together. It's not about helping people, it's about feeding the loyal foot soldiers. That's what everything's about. You could extrapolate this across almost every Democrat policy. Here's another one, DEI. Just to make the picture even more nauseating, just look at this story from the New York Post. We're now learning that Mayor Pete and the Department of Transportation blew through $80 billion. Yes, with a B, $80 billion. Not on building new airports, not on building infrastructure or doing anything relevant, not on tackling the East Palestine crisis, no, on DEI grants. Meanwhile, the results, air traffic control systems that are crumbling, flights getting delayed, or nearly colliding in the sky, the actual infrastructure being ignored, no advancements in tech and making the system better. No, just a bunch of DEI initiatives, a bunch of rainbow flags and photos of wildly diverse casts and crew. I mean, the way I think of it is if the Democrats are spending money, well, don't expect very much. It's likely not going to anything productive. The consultants get their checks, the Democrat Party gets their Act Blue donations, but they don't fix problems. In fact, it seems they inflate the problem and then just milk it absolutely dry. You simply cannot trust this party with your money, whether it's taxpayer dollars or fundraise funds, decades of throwing dollars at every single issue, while all the issues continue to get worse and worse and worse, while all these NGO-connected people are getting richer and richer, massive inflating net worths and beautiful homes in Georgetown, Washington. I mean, come on. Something stinks to the frickin' high heavens. Something is not right.